Jamaica 2, Trinidad and Tobago 0, and it's looking very slim for Trinidad and Tobago to qualify at least first place in this group for the World Cup. Very frustrating performance. Very frustrating performance. But let's get into the game. It was a hopeful performance. I don't think that we just kind of laid back and let Jamaica take the game by the scruff of the neck. I don't think that was the case at all. We did show some fight this evening. He started 11, of course, came up. We saw the likes of Wayne Frederick in there, Yates starting, of course, Daniel Phillips and Kevin Molino missing in this one due to the accumulation of yellow cards, and I think they were big misses. However, we do have to give credit to especially Wayne Frederick, I think, who was really good. I mean, he wasn't sensational, but he looked good on the ball. Believe he made a key pass or two in the first and in the second half. So credit to him. Yates, I didn't have the best game in my opinion, but still was chosen to start. And to be fair to him, he did play some key passes, which unfortunately were, well, they led to goals, but they led to offside goals, which we'll talk about. So the game started off, of course, with Jamaica on the front foot. Surprisingly, the crowd was very empty. I thought it looked really empty, which I didn't expect. I thought that most Jamaicans would have come out to this one. There was a lot leading up into it, you know, a lot of banter, a lot of war of words. Of course, nothing too intense or nothing vicious or those kind of things, but you know, the usual football banter between Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago. So I thought that the crowd looked really scanty, as we say in Trinidad. But nevertheless, Jamaica started off really well. You know, they had corner after corner, chance after chance, and to be honest, we were really lucky to hang on in those early stages. It's a good thing that actually we didn't concede. And then all of a sudden, you know, we started to kind of grow into the game. Of course, Levi Garcia scoring that goal. Everybody in Trinidad and Tobago thought that, you know, finally Levi is going to, you know, bring us success in a game where we must win. This was a huge game for us to keep pace with the World Cup qualifying group, as well as, you know, Jamaica bragging rights. When he put the ball in the back of the net, it was like, wow, finally. And you could see the relief on Levi's face as well. And then, of course, VAR has reached the Caribbean. And goal was chalked for offside. He was just offside, nevertheless offside. And I think we actually ended the first half pretty well. You know, we also looked threatening in the attack. Then the thing that we've been praising the team for against Curacao happens against Jamaica in the biggest game, arguably, of the group stage, a defensive error. Josiah Chiminam and Kobe Henry with a bit of a miscommunication in the back, and really a frustrating goal for us to concede. Bailey finishes the chance, and that's the thing about these games. You can't make these mistakes because good teams will punish you. So said, so done, and we went into the half 1-0 down, where we could have been 1-0 up if it wasn't for, you know, Levi being offside. And it was unlucky because he really was just a bit offside. It was a really good finish, a good ball through from Yates, and yeah. Second half now, we started well again. I think, you know, as we usually do in the second half, our performances improve, and it seemed as if we might have gotten back into it, but then Jamaica score again. And to me, it was another really soft goal to concede. You know, there was a question of it being offside, but I believe it was Kobe Henry who kind of headed the ball into Russell, who finished it off. You know, poor defending, I think, from us again. It wasn't convincing. We weren't able to clear the ball. And once that ball is bubbling around in the box and people are getting on the end of it, there's always a chance of a goal scoring. And he was in an offside position, Russell, but I think because the ball was played to him by Kobe Henry with the VAR, you know, they deemed it to be a fair goal, 2-0. Then Levi again gets himself on the score sheet, or so we thought. You know, Jamaica were playing around with the ball in the back. They gave away the ball to us in an attacking position. Ball from, I believe it was Yates again, into Levi, and found the back of the net. We all celebrated again, but again, he was offside. and frustration again for Levi Garcia and Trinidad and Tobago. And we're still down 2-0. And then the subs started rolling in. We saw Nathaniel James came on, and Dwight, to be fair, brought on a lot of artillery. Ryan Telfer, we saw Obiku come on, and Nathaniel James is somebody that we've been calling for to be in this team, to play. We thought we would have seen him against Curacao, and the reason for that is because when he comes on, he really impacts the play. You know, he came on, he looked fresh, he looked like a live wire, and you know, he created a chance. Goalkeeper parried it, and Levi tapped it into the back of the net again. But that one was really blatantly offside, and again, really frustrating, really frustrating. I don't want to come down too much on the guys because I think that they showed some fight today, but I mean, the defense really didn't do us proud today. We were shaky, and the 2 goals, I think, weren't really anything brilliant from Jamaica, just lapses in concentration from us in the back. But nevertheless, we lose, so we now are really far behind Jamaica. Of course, perfect after the 2 games, so they have 6 points. In the other game in the group, Curacao and Bermuda actually had a battle. Curacao, of course, coming out on top, so they sit second on 4 points. We still have our 1 point in third, and well, Bermuda, because of their defeat, they are bottom of the group. So disappointing run, a draw and a loss in these first 2 games, and it's looking more and more like we'll probably have to play for that second spot and try to be the best second place finisher, because as it stands, it's not really in our hands. Even if we beat Jamaica in the return leg, you know, Curacao or whoever, well, top spot is Jamaica. Even if we beat them, we still will only be on 4 points at that point, or however it works, and we'll have to ask for help or hope for help from the other teams to kind of take points from Jamaica. So defeat, but we move on to next month and we see how the guys respond.